Can you retire comfortably, confidently with the $500,000? I'm going to tell you what you need to focus on and how you can do that. I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Recently saw a survey that showed, on average, people think they need $1.1 million to retire, and more than 50%, almost 60%, think they'd be lucky to get to $500,000. So, Houston, we have a problem. Is the $1.1 million the right number? I don't know. Depends on your situation, right? But if reality is there is a gap between where you think you need to be or want to be and where you're actually going to be, well, then how can you actually retire on that amount and still have financial success, live comfortably, and have a confidence in that retirement on $500,000? I think a lot of people, that will be the reality. And guys, here's the good news. I think it can work. Why do I think that? Because we've helped tons of people do it, okay? There are 5 factors that determine your retirement readiness, your retirement confidence, your retirement plan. 5 different factors. How much you have saved up is one of them, but you've got to look at some of the other factors. If you don't think you're going to have as much saved up as you want to have or need to have, or it'd be nice to have, then look at the other factors to figure out how you can still craft a comfortable and confident retirement. To me, if you think, all right, my new aim is going to be saving up $500,000, or I think I can do that while juggling the kids in college and paying off debt and the home repairs and all that sort of stuff, I think I can get to $500,000. Here's how you can get to $500,000 and still have a competent retirement. I'd focus on 3 of the other 5 factors. The first is age. And you might not like this, but if you have a little bit less saved up than what you would otherwise want to have, then you've got to probably work a little bit longer, because doing so will mean that your overall retirement, and this is going to sound like it's not rocket science, it's really simple, but working until 67 instead of 62 means your retirement is going to be 5 years shorter, okay? And if you don't have as much saved up as you'd want to, having a 5-year shorter retirement could really go a long way, So if you're shooting for, or you were hoping to, or you thought you needed $1 million saved up or $2 million saved up, but you're not gonna, that's not gonna be possible for you, well, then work a couple extra years. I think it's realistic to retire, depending on these other factors. I'm gonna tell you the other 2, but age being sort of one that I would really focus on if you're thinking $500,000 is the new goal. Retiring at 60 or 62 is unlikely. That's unlikely to work. Work with your CFP to see, but unlikely to work. 65, I think it might be more realistic, but 67, 68, 69, or even 70, depending on your situation, I'd have your sights set there on retiring, because again, you only want to retire once. You want to be able to retire comfortably. You want to be able to retire with confidence no matter what's happening around you. And if reaching that savings threshold of just $500,000, if that's the reality or that's the goal, I'd look at that age component, the very first factor in your retirement plan, to see, well, if I work an extra year or a couple extra years, with $500,000, having $500,000 saved up, will that be the right number? The second factor that I would tell you to dive into and work on if you think you're only going to have $500,000 saved up for retirement is spending. Of the 5 factors, this one is, certainly not the most popular, not by a long shot. I would argue it might be the most important. I really would. I've seen people retire with confidence with $200,000 saved up. I've seen people not retire well with $2 million saved up. And what's the key differentiator? It's how much they spend. So if you are thinking, I wish I had $1 million saved up or 1.1, I'm only going to be able to have about 500,000 saved up. How can I make this work for my retirement? I would look at your budget. I would look at how much you're spending, and I would do that math with your CFP to see, okay, right now, think about this. So I'll just lay out a little brief example for you. Right now, our take home is, between you and your spouse, $6,000 a month. We've got $1,500 of that is going on the mortgage. We've got another $500 that's helping our child with college. And so we spend approximately $4,000 a month. So what if there was a way for you to get debt free by the time you retire? $1,500 that you're currently spending right now, you won't need to spend each month in retirement. You'll need to spend a couple $100. You'll need to do, property taxes and your homeowner's insurance, but it won't need to be $1,500, right? That'll save you money. And then hopefully the kids are, you're no longer having kids expenses and all of that in college or when you're retired as well. And so all of a sudden isolating, well, how much are you spending today? And how much do you think you'll spend in retirement? Knowing and working on those numbers can help provide a lot of clarity. Because if that's your situation, take that example a little bit further and, okay, we bring home $6,000, but we really only spend $4,000. Okay, well, we spend $4,000 right now. We've got to add Medicare and health insurance to that. We've got to add some taxes to that. So all in, we probably need gross $5,200 a month of income. Okay, we're going to have $3,500 a month in Social Security, and therefore we need to draw another, $1,700 out of the investments, $1,700 a month divided by, as a percentage of $500,000. That could be close to a sustainable withdrawal rate. It's about 4%. So all of a sudden, focusing in on, well, how much are we spending right now? How much do you think we'll spend in retirement? Can we get the numbers to work? That's the second area that I would focus. We've worked with folks where they come in and it's not a long-term relationship for us, but it's one where they say, I don't have any money saved up and I'm about 65 and I don't know how long I can keep working and how is this going to work? The very first thing we do is I need your Social Security statement and I need your current take-home pay, your pay stub. I want to see how much are you spending right now and see if I can delay Social Security long enough, so have you work long enough so that what you're spending right now in take home can align pretty closely with what your Social Security would be. Because right now with your take home, you're paying taxes on that. And in the future, if it's just Social Security, the way current tax laws are structured for Social Security, you wouldn't have any tax on that. And you might look and say, well, that is just living on Social Security, that is not ideal. I know. But if you've reached 65 or you're pretty close and you don't have anything saved up, that's your only option, is to focus in on your budget, focus in on your spending, and find a way for it to match. Now, last point on this. What if you look right now and say, yeah, we're spending about $8,000 a month, and there's no way of delaying Social Security long enough such that I can get, anywhere close to that? There is your answer. Unemotionally, you've got to find a way to spend less. And guess what happens when you spend less? You won't need to have as much saved up, okay? So finding a way, working on how much you spend and what you think you'll spend in retirement, that's the second factor that I'd really have you work with your CFP on and lean in on as a way to help give confidence and reassurance that you'll be able to retire with $500,000. And then the last of the factors that I would tell you is really something that you're going to want to spend some time on analyzing if retiring with $500,000 is more is the goal that you're shooting for or the reality that you're in, and that is your sources of income in retirement. The most common age at which people draw Social Security is 62. And that is permanently locking in a reduced amount of Social Security for the rest of your life. Well, listen, if you thought you needed $1.1 million saved up, and reality is you're only going to have $500,000, you can't afford to lock in your Social Security at such a low rate. You therefore, going back to age, you might need to work a little bit longer. Going back to the second one, you might need to work your budget to find out how can you live on a little bit less. And then third, you might need to work up until a point where, okay, your Social Security has grown at 8% a year up to a level that plus a little bit of withdrawal, a sustainable withdrawal out of that $500,000 is a comfortable source of income and amount of income for you for retirement. So guys, $500,000, that can work. It absolutely can. You've got to look at all 5 factors of your retirement. Working with a CFP, they can give you the clarity, the confidence, the creativity to help you get from, well, I feel like I need 1.1, but I'm only going to have $500,000, to instead saying, no, you've got $500,000 and that can work. Or these are the adjustments that you need to make in order for that to work. So work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team, find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with a K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.